Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of Drink While You Think. It's a very special episode. I'm your host, Matthew, but you'll notice that Kenji is out in New Hampshire at a retirement party. Well, you probably didn't notice that part, but I have a very special guest. This is Ryan Lazanis, a repeat Drink While You Thinker, and a friend and somebody we enjoy catching up with. But Ryan, tell people about yourself and tell us what you're drinking today.
First and foremost, Kenji retired? You never told me that.
Oh, no. Kenji went to a retirement party for Van. Van, shout out to Van. He was the owner of Accounting House. We merged with in November, and he decided he's retiring. So this was part of his grand plan, join Acuity and sail off in the sunset. And so that's what Van gets to do. So
cool.
Kenji's celebrating that right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm Ryan Lazanis. Matt, thanks a lot for inviting me. I'm Canadian, born and raised here in Montreal, Canada. I was a cloud accounting firm owner. I started my own accounting firm in 2013 called Xen Accounting. It was an online accounting firm. Started it from scratch, grew it over a 5-year period, was acquired in 2018 by a corporate services firm based out of Europe. I helped them transition things over for about a 1-year period. And at around the same time, I started Future Firm, which provides coaching and content to help accountants quickly grow a modern, scalable firm that they love and that gives them a good lifestyle. So been really busy with that. Been putting out a lot of content since I started Future Firm in 2018, actionable, practical content, whether through my blog, podcast, newsletter. I send a newsletter over 5,000 firm leaders globally. And I've been coaching firms for the last few years as well. In January, I launched Future Firm Accelerate. As you know, Matt, it's my online coaching membership, which basically takes everything I know about growing my own firm from scratch to sale, developing it into an online course format to help others avoid some of the costly pitfalls, to help them scale their own firm, provide some coaching through the platform whenever any of the members need some of my assistance. And there's an awesome community of around 300 forward-thinking entrepreneurial firm owners that all collaborate together online to share best practices and help lift each other up. So that's a little bit about myself. And that's
what are you drinking
at the moment. Yeah, what am I drinking? I'm drinking because I'm in Montreal. This is a Montreal beer. I don't know. It's not coming into focus well here, but
there it is.
Brasseur de Montreal. So I got some French, busting out some French here. This is a strong beer, they call it. And I don't know, the name of the beer is, so the brand is Brasseur de Montreal, and Phare de Lille is the name of this beer. So I don't know, it's a dry hopped session.
Awesome. Well, I'm drinking the Island Active. So somebody brought this to our tailgate. It's an 88 calorie beer. So wow. I did not drink this at the tailgate. It's a premium light beer, and I'm dying to know how bad it is. So I'm just curious. Oh, yeah. But no, it's like I'm trying to watch my calories a little bit. So okay. I'm going to see if watching my calories does anything. But cheers, man.
Cheers.
Awesome. Oh, that's better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything to be good at 88 calories.
No, that's not bad. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, I joined Ryan's group at Future Firm Accelerate because I just love what he's doing over there with the community building. And especially kind of, I think you crystallize it better than a lot of people. Like you really reinforce a focus on deciding what you really want to do before you go do it. Like what's really important to you? Like, is money the only thing? Is family the thing? And picking that. It's almost like your personal value scorecard. So that's what always resonates with me about your messaging. And you have one of the top blogs and newsletters in the country. So, or in the North America, because you're Canada. But but I have a question for you about Future Firm.
Sure.
I was like, what is the biggest thing that's been a success, and what's been like the biggest failure there? Like you talked about firm stuff. What about the marketing side? And because it's like a marketing machine, man. Like tell us what's the biggest success, biggest failure.
The biggest success is probably Future Firm Accelerate because it's exceeded my expectations. When I started Future Firm, I started in 2018 with the idea of how could I help other firm owners kind of avoid all the mistakes that I made? Because, when I started my firm, it was a cloud firm, what I would consider a modern firm. And I had really no one to lean on being, the sole owner of that firm. And I made pretty much every mistake in the book. And I wanted to help other firm owners avoid those mistakes and just get to their, ideal destination faster. And I knew from the get-go, yes, I did provide some one-to-one coaching. And yes, I still do a little bit of that. But I knew from the get-go, I wanted to productize those kind of services and have a much more leveraged model and a much more passive income oriented model. So I thought I was just going to be developing online courses that then morphed into more of a membership based model where it would be online courses paired with some group coaching along with like a community component. And so the thing that's, I didn't expect to have 300 members at this point. And I wasn't entirely sure of the kind of people that would be joining either. And I was really pleasantly surprised that it was, modern firm owners like yourself, cloud firms, firms that were interested in automation, firms that were interested in, building something cutting edge. So for me, that was a pleasant surprise. In terms of biggest failure, there's plenty.
Always is.
There's always plenty. Yeah, there's always plenty. I don't know if I would call this necessarily a failure. It's a new program, so I'm still trying to tune the messaging, right? I have to tune the messaging. So sometimes it's not always on message, but I think probably when I first launched Future Firm, I didn't know exactly what direction I would be going in for at least the, first 6 months or so. My first few mandates was I thought I was just going to be more of a technology consultant, more of a process optimization consultant, something more in that area, helping bring legacy firms into the future. And very quickly, I realized that, I was producing 50-page process optimization reports and technology reports. And I don't know if I would call it a failure, but it was just not the direction I wanted to take the business. And I very quickly pivoted. So, and just really focused on helping modern firms get to the next level. So that's a little bit of what I might have done differently at the outset.
That's pretty cool. Okay. Current events. You and I are both big on culture.
Yeah.
Okay. So the current event one that I can't get my head around is one of the best cultures in Atlanta, Mailchimp.
Okay. Yeah. I had a feeling you'd bring that up.
Famously in Atlanta here, they are the most progressive, the best culture, best place to work by a mile. Gets acquired by Intuit.
Okay.
What was your aside from the 3 guys made $12 billion. That's awesome. Because they never raised money, right?
Yeah.
They bootstrapped it. And they made
crazy.
They made 11 billion of the 12 billion, and the employees made about 700 million from the thing. Culture, what do you what was when you read that? I mean, I don't know if you know the Mailchimp guys or that culture, but what was your thought like?
Honestly, I don't even know what to think, to be very honest. I just don't see the synergy, and I don't see, it's a big move, obviously. You don't make that kind of move unless you see something pretty interesting there. But I don't even know. I had a discussion about this with someone earlier, and I just said, I don't even know what to think, truthfully, because it just doesn't really make sense to me. Yes, you can say, some people are saying, David Leary is saying it's an e-commerce play. They want to take out Shopify, and others are saying, well, it's going to integrate marketing into the platform. And I don't even really know where it's going to go, truthfully. From a culture standpoint, again, I don't know a ton about Mailchimp culture other than what you just described, but I could imagine there might be a little bit of a clash from what you're saying. And feedback that I'm seeing online is not overly positive. I see a lot of people saying, well, guess I won't be using Mailchimp anymore. I have nothing against Mailchimp. I have nothing against Intuit. It's just what I'm reading online. So other than that, I really have not much to say about it. Truthfully, I just want to see how it plays out.
Yeah, it
What,
blew
what do
my
you think?
mind. It blew my mind because it was kind of like culturally, like from, I mean, the thing that they have, well, I mean, it just blows my mind. It kind of blew my mind from a culture perspective.
Okay.
From an ecosystem perspective, I did have a perspective on. I couldn't get my head around the culture thing because like it just, I can't imagine two different cultures
Yeah.
like coming together and for 12 billion bucks, like
Yeah.
you would think that was a red flag. And I guess not the seller side because you're the three guys, literally three of the guys. It was a 3-person cap table, from what I understand, and they got $11 billion, so I guess they're okay. They get some budget Intuit stock, but
Pretty nice.
it was about a 50-50. It was like 6 billion in cash and 5 billion in Intuit stock,
Yes.
something like that. It's I think the press release said, but and then the employees got 700 million, half in cash, half in stock. Um, but the thing that makes me nervous about it is I've seen this trend where, like, I love the trend. I love the ecosystem where all the apps work together,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
It's a consolidation now.
And this is a move to where, as firm owners, are we going to have to think you have to pick?
Yeah.
Like, is this the first step to Intuit not letting Bill.com in and Intuit blocking out Gusto? And like, is this the first step there? Or it's not even the first step. I've already seen them trying to be the bank, them trying to be the marketing engine now. Like, it's just weird to me that they're trying to consolidate like these other things. Like a more logical acquisition was Gusto or Bill.com, right? I'm not sure which would have made me more nervous, like about shutting down the ecosystem, right? Like in not having, an agnostic GL provider. But man, I don't think I like that world as a firm owner where I
Yeah.
have to pick
It's
between.
dangerous.
I mean, I did this in my blog. I was like, what's the difference between Xero and QuickBooks?
Yeah.
And like feature wise, it's just like it's a boring read of a blog.
Yeah.
The only thing I could come up with was different was like, I believe Xero as a culture is more open to making, like letting you build and design your tech stack. And Intuit's going to be like, nah, you got to use ours. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's where it's all headed. So I was like, I'm thinking about like going forward, like because of that, pushing Xero on all new customers. Like we've been relatively agnostic in the fight.
Yeah. Yeah. You've been
Kind of had
pretty evenly split.
Yeah, you have about a 300 and 300 or something, 350, 350, something like that split on number of people on whatever, which means we're probably biased Xero because the US is like whatever it is, 90-10 or whatever it is, 80-10, whatever, everything else. But that was my take on it, was like from a culture thing, it was like I was stunned. And from a ecosystem thing, I'm just disappointed and scared that this is just the first step. And
but I mean, if it makes for a better customer experience, if it could do some interest, like why would you be against that?
Now, that's a great question. I think Intuit is going to have a place for business owners that don't want to pick, like that don't want to decide or optimize or have any things. And that's what I said. Like, if you don't want to decide, go into it. If you want to have choice who you're, like, you can't rip and replace the merchant services at Intuit, right?
Yeah.
Xero, it's easy.
Yeah. Xero gives you that modular type approach, whereas Intuit is the everything under one roof kind of thing, which suits different markets.
It does. I'm just, I'm probably, our firm at least, our clients tend to be, want more freedom and more leverage. And the weird thing is, like, I think during their entrepreneurial journey, I think everybody wants a one-stop shop at the first step of their entrepreneurial journey. And then as they move up it, they get more sophisticated, they want more choice. That's my only fear about the Intuit thing, is like later they won't have choice if we get them started down the Intuit path. But that's more airtime that Intuit's ever had on this podcast. Or
we'll see where it goes.
That's pretty cool. So, well, Kenji usually asks the questions. So you have any questions for me? We've been through a lot over here. Anything you have for me? Like you got a customer on the podcast? You
I want
got
to
somebody
know.
that just did a merger?
And and thank you for being a member. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate your views because I know I greatly respect you and I greatly respect Kenji and what you guys at Acuity do. And I always share, what I try to do like in my content is a lot of time showcase what the leaders are doing and showcase what innovation looks like. And you guys are often being featured because you're doing some great stuff. And one thing I'm really interested in hearing a little bit more about, if you'd like to share, is, we talked about this more scalable type membership model or service offering, like the offering that I have right now. One person is able to service essentially 300 members through, offering leveraged coaching or leveraged services with some online education, with a community that have shared values. When you put all that together, you have a very leveraged model. So I know that you're rolling out that kind of model as well. And I'd like to hear how that's been developing. If you have any information you'd be able to share on that, because this is something I've shared with my members, shared with my newsletter through my newsletter. I like to know how that's going for you and what it's looking like at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been a crazy journey. And I've kind of, when I joined your thing, that was one of the things I wanted to get a glean from is like how that experience would look like. I just like to point out, we're a little different than some of the other firms in that we have 5 owners now that we did the merger. All 5 of us, none of us have client responsibilities. So none of us have one-on-one client responsibilities. So we get to work on some of these projects. So I don't like, if you're out there, don't feel bad if you're like can't get to everything. But so we built a education course that was kind of do-it-yourself model. Well, Catching Clouds, who's the company we just merged with them in August, they had a similar model.
Yes.
And they did it differently, but they have a one-time training module and a community that is separate. So they run a Facebook group and then they run a training module and they have several training modules. They have like e-commerce for Amazon, e-commerce for Shopify.
This is geared for more accounting firms though, is it? Or is it more geared for, because I know some people have talked to me about like, who knows e-commerce accounting? Like this was maybe some time ago.
I think I
said Catching Clouds and they have some courses that you can buy or something like that.
So that's so I haven't done the analysis of who buys the courses, if it's accountants or sellers or something like that. But, from a CTA perspective or a call to action perspective on the website, like one of the nice things Catching Clouds has, like they had the strategy where like they had a very defined ideal client profile, right? It was an e-commerce company with over $1 million in revenue. Well, their question was, what do you do with the e-commerce companies with under $1 million in revenue? And they sent them to these courses and to this community so they could source those things. And that's because they only had a daily offering. So every one of their clients, they touch daily. At Acuity, we have a daily offering, a weekly offering, a monthly offering, and we have a quarterly offering if you do tax with us. So you can have different cadences. So we can use those. We can serve that. We have always served those companies. So I had built what you're referring to is a subscription model like yours, where I thought, okay, I'll take somebody through the DIY journey. But pay a monthly subscription. So I've kind of flipped my thinking on the subscription part of it. So to be consistent amongst the companies, and this is like this week's discussions. So we're going to have individual courses that are calls to action that you can buy if you want to do it yourself, right? Like get set up, connect to Amazon, connect to Shopify, if you're e-commerce, but get started. And then we're going to have a separate community you can join. And learning from you, like, I don't know how you do the community you do because I have already 6 different things. So we're going to create a Slack community for our people that are just freemium users. So if you buy a course or whatever, and we're going to use that as a lead funnel. So I'm going to take
How much
my
are these
model.
courses?
I think they have like a $299, a $399. So like if you want, if like from a month's perspective, from what I was thinking, it's like somebody that stays for 8 months, in a membership course, right? That was a $49 course or whatever that was. So it's a similar kind of model to that. But like I had a similar problem, was like after the first set of content, like it had to be about the community.
Yeah.
Right. So I think instead of putting that community in the WordPress site, which I just have not kind of been able to put myself in a discipline to check it all the time, I need it to be in Slack.
Yeah.
The other reason I need it to be in Slack.
That would drive me crazy.
The other reason I need it to be in Slack is that I need it to be ideal client profile people.
Mm-hmm.
And we communicate primarily through Slack.
With all your clients?
With a lot of our clients.
Oh, wow.
That our ideal clients, we communicate through Slack.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have people engaging with us on a Slack community,
mm-hmm. They're already getting into your routine to a certain extent.
I've already, like, as opposed to currently, like, we're going to eliminate, hopefully we'll not eliminate the Facebook group at Catching Clouds, but the Facebook group, we're going to transition into a Slack community. So the people that come over, that's like a self-select out for people that are progressive with technology, that use our tech stack, that will trust us kind of in that way. So our thinking's really evolved around that. I would love to get to a membership model, but I don't really have the recurring content coming out to be able to do that. And I don't have a narrow enough ideal client profile to have a community, a 300-person community that wants to talk to each other. Yeah. Right. So I need to have a kind of more diverse ecosystem like Slack, where I can, one of the things I've been asked to do a lot is an incubator here in Atlanta, and several incubators, we do educational things for them. Well, this will allow us to give them the course, right? Or do some promo on the course, add them to a Slack group, add a Slack channel just for their incubator, and then have an AMA channel. And then we can decide, are we going to do AMA calls? Are we going to do that? And then every client can be in the
But that
Slack.
Seems like it would be, because that's ongoing support though. That seems like something you should be charging monthly for, no?
That's a great question. But I'm using it as a funnel right now. It costs me $3,000 to acquire a customer. So the question is, somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 to acquire a customer that is going to spend $600 a month. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to balance that. I want that to be a funnel for our company.
Yeah.
My hypothesis is accountants like talking about like some of this stuff, but like, because in your community, we don't talk about like one thing. We talk about running the business.
Yeah.
In a community that's specialized to accounting, like, I don't know that I'm going to be there. If somebody needs to do that 4 hours a month, like, how much are they going to be in the community? Yeah. Right.
So here's the other question then. If this is a funnel, why even charge for the course?
I'm deciding about that. We're likely going to run promotions where it's free frequently.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's just a CTA at some point. So likely what my thought is, the community is going to be free. The course is going to be something, right? Some cost. And then we'll kind of go from there. Like it's like showing tiers, like 3 choices, just so people have different choices. Mm-hmm. And the course will have some other kind of value. Likely if they do that, they will like have a free CFO office hours or something like that.
Okay.
Something that we do.
So do you think other firms should get involved with this? Because I believe that this is an interesting model for certain kind of firms. And there's many members in the Future Firm Accelerate community that have expressed interest in launching online courses, monetizing these courses, having more passive income streams. Passive income doesn't mean that there's no work though. There's a lot of work, but do you think others should be doing this? What's your thought on that? Or who should be doing this? Who should and who shouldn't be doing this, in your opinion?
Wow, that's a great question.
Because I think there's some firms that probably shouldn't be doing this at the moment.
I agree. I think so. One of the reasons that I'm doing it, just to be transparent, is like when I go through a program called EO, which is like developing like what do you want to be, right? Like, and I had a coach through that process was like, okay, like why have a course? It was like, well, I personally like talking in front of this group. Like, if it never makes me money, like I've been doing this for 10 years for incubators, right? And not charging for it and just like doing it for the community because I enjoy it. So I personally, so we have 5 of us at Acuity. 2 of us like doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
So we're only going to do 2 tracks. We're going to do a startup accounting track and an e-commerce accounting track. And I'm going to do one and Scott's going to do the other because we get joy out of this being successful. I guess one of the best things any person ever told me was like one of my business coaches 20 years ago when I was at Cherry Becker, right before I made partner, was like, hey, when you pick a customer profile, pick the ones you want to work with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, if you want to work with do-it-yourselfers, like you should do this, right? Like that's great. Like, but you got to want to work with do-it-yourselfers and they can't afford very much money. And you're talking about $29 a month or $29 for a course or $99 for a course. So that's, I guess, the best thing for me is I'm kind of go back to what you do when you start out with Future Firm is like, what do you want to do? Like personally. So I think the people that want to do it personally should do it. And I think the people that don't should not. Like as a firm strategy, I can see it as part of a broader marketing strategy because that's my role right now and I'm designing that. But it's like a small piece of like, there's other calls to action that you can have to grab an email that you can get value out of.
Yeah. 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 It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Yeah. So, I mean, that's really what I was curious about. I wanted to hear how it's going. So you have to keep me in the loop there.
No, I'm enjoying it. We obviously bought 2 firms since I started it. So we've had a lot of integration stuff. So particularly in this last quarter, we started a process that the Basecamp guys use called Shape Up. Have you ever read anything by the Basecamp guys?
I have a couple books from them.
So they have an online like PDF that you can buy called Shape Up, which is like how they did their development sprints.
Okay.
And last quarter, we started implementing that at Acuity, and the leadership team committed to and bet on like the 3 major initiatives we wanted to work on. And mine didn't make the cut for the last one. So we didn't add to the DIY course last quarter. So we're going through our next process of betting, which is what they call it. So we agree on what the initiatives are. So I might be working on that. So this quarter. So
cool.
I am going to be working on that this quarter.
All right. Keep me in the loop.
So that's pretty cool. So what's next for Future Firm Accelerate, dude? We've talked a little about this. So yeah. I kind of want to know where your head is now.
So what we've talked about is, a big part of Future Firm Accelerate is connecting people together, connecting like-minded individuals, the type of people that are in the community, modern firm owners, forward-thinking, entrepreneurial, they're not legacy firms that are trying to modernize. They're already, cloud-based, using all this cool technology. And we're just trying to find ways to connect them. And Matt, what we've discussed is, we had a call, I think a couple of weeks ago about the idea of mastermind groups. And you said that you're an EO and that, you were part of a mastermind group or still are part of a mastermind group, and it's had a big impact on you and the ability to connect with people that are in your similar situation, to help each other out, to keep each other accountable. So that's certainly something on the radar that I want to get to. I'd like to get to that sooner than later, but right now I'm pumping out content for the platform. So the very next thing that's coming out, which is going to be in a couple days, is all my marketing materials. So all my online courses on, the marketing that I use to quickly grow my last firm. These are all inbound marketing strategies, online marketing strategies. The marketing strategies that I use to quickly spin up an audience with Future Firm and to launch Future Firm Accelerate. So, really step-by-step actionable marketing strategies that firm owners could literally just swipe. And so that's coming out in a few days. But then past that, the next big feature is I'd like to find something for the community to bring them a little bit closer together. And I'd like to implement mastermind groups. And I know you have a lot to say about that. So,
well, I wanted to get everybody together at AICPA Engage. So we didn't have any takers on the community to do that, but like
we got to do that. I mean, the next set of conferences I plan to head to. So we'll have to drum something up that time, because it's been a while since I've seen you last. So.
I know ZeroCon New Orleans has to be circled on everybody's calendar, right? Like we got to get anybody watching this for sure. We better be at ZeroCon New Orleans together and hanging out.
Yeah, we'll do a roll call and we'll set something up. So that's something certainly I'd like to do. Features to help bring the community together. Features that help provide more focus. Rather than just more and more and more content. I think there's a core amount of content that I want to provide, but I don't want to just keep piling on more stuff. I want to help business owners be focused, have a clear, direct plan, and ultimately help save them time. Because some of the content I want to start putting out there is to help. How could we help actually save you time and add capacity to your life and your team's life? Because that seems to be the big issue to solve for, really.
Okay, I have another question for you. I got lots of questions for you.
Okay.
Was it easier to do a Future Firm podcast that was 30 minutes or 6 minutes?
Well, the first Future Firm podcast, I think you were the first. You and Kenji were episode number 1. Where I had no clue what I was doing. There was no editing of the audio involved. I don't think. It was probably on my webcam mic. And those were hour-long interviews. And doing it with you was really easy, but doing it with some others, not so much. And I don't want to name drop here, but there's some that never saw the light of day. It's not easy doing those. It took a lot of time. And truthfully, I didn't enjoy the long form episodes much. And the big thing was I've always tried everything that I do. I always tried to differentiate, and I found that there was not a specific theme that I had for that podcast. And the short episodes under 10 minutes, first off, they're much longer to produce, as we discussed. So I could bang those out pretty quickly. But nobody was really doing that in the accounting space. And some people, they write to me and say, I'm so happy that they're only, 8 minutes long, because I can go out, walk the dog, listen to an episode, come back. It was something bite-sized. So that resonated with me a little bit more. And certainly I didn't enjoy producing the 1-hour shows as much either.
That's awesome. I think what I have to say about your podcast is it is completely you. It is so true to you. It's like, I have to tell you, like in a normal podcast, I'm trying to get one nugget.
Yeah.
And that's usually takes an hour.
Yeah.
And I never leave without a nugget, even when it's 6 minutes. It's so awesome. So it's just like, what's the priority, right? And you're like, I just want it to be actionable.
That's it. And that's what I want to do a Future Firm Accelerate too, because some of my courses, they're long. And it provides the context and it shows you exactly how to do certain things and implement strategies, but not everybody has that time. So I want to have more quick win stuff. I already have some of that stuff coming out in the next few days, but quick win stuff, get to the point, implement this stuff quickly, actionable, practical stuff. So yeah, that's really the gist of the podcast. Just get to the point.
That's awesome. Okay. The really important stuff. I got the most important question.
Yeah.
Give us a family update. How's your family doing, man?
Do you hear my daughter in the background? She doesn't want to go to bed right
I can't hear. Do you ever, you can pick her up and show us like how big she's getting?
Well, I'd like to, but she's trying to go to sleep right now, Matt. Okay. So you want me to go grab her while she's half asleep? Is that what you'd like?
No, I know better.
She's almost 16 months now. So, getting old, we're almost getting her, prepped for high school days, not quite, but actually I saw you on Facebook the other day. It was pretty with your one of your kids, eh? What was it, university?
Yeah. So my
College?
oldest just entered the University of Maryland.
Wow.
And my baby, she
Yeah.
just got her driver's permit here in the States,
Yeah.
and she just started high school.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'm a little bit ahead of you,
A little bit.
but I still enjoyed those times. So you're almost to the point in parenting that I liked,
Yeah.
which is when they could tell me what was wrong.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I found it weird. That's like, this is my first kid, and there's literally no real communication that takes place in that first year. And, there's some signs and stuff, but like, you don't know what the heck's going on really, So I just find it interesting that like, we haven't actually been able to speak. And I've been living with this human for like a year and a half, So yeah, but we're really enjoying it. We're having a great time.
Well, that's awesome. Well, that was the last question I have for you. This is your last chance to ask me anything. Do you have any last questions for me here?
When are you coming up to Montreal?
Oh man. So like if Tipton had gone to Vermont, I would have been up and seeing you all the time. You live in the closest city to the University of Vermont in North America. So I don't think they'll still let me in to Montreal yet.
Why not?
Like Americans can't go to Canada yet, right?
No, they can. Canadians can't go to America. That's the difference.
Oh, so I can come there.
You can go there, but I can't go there. So there's some kind of mismatch here.
So one of my problems is I need to go to Canada, so I can become the signer on the bank account for the company I'm the CEO for in Canada.
Oh, really? That's true. Yeah, but that's on the other side of the country.
That I know, but if there's a TD branch there, I could probably come to Montreal or go to BC.
There's many TD branches here. You can do that.
So because they need me to go to a TD branch there, because they won't let me become a signer unless I come in. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you have to come then.
This is why Joseph has a business model.
Yeah. It's a good one too.
Those of you that haven't checked out Relay Financial, check it out because none of this stupidity happens there.
Ridiculous.
It's just, I literally can't become a signer on the account until I fly to Canada to go live into a TD branch during a pandemic.
It's very frustrating. I don't think it's much better there though, is it?
No, not a whole lot. I'm trying to move our Chase accounts around now with the Catching Clouds merger, but that's been
very unaccommodating. Even just opening up an account, you have to go into a branch here. I had someone come to my house that said, I'm not going to a branch. Someone came to my house with a pile of papers to sign them. I'm like, okay, fine. This is how we open bank accounts in 2020.
This just makes me cringe. Like that you and I hate this stuff, right? Like there's such an easier way to do this shit. It's just not fair.
So painful. Whenever I see that, it just drives me nuts.
So this is the part where we rate our beers, dude.
Yeah.
What do you 0 to 5? So that's the rating. And usually like if you like the beer, it's got to be 3+. You got to keep
give it a 6. How about that? I'll give it a 6. Has anyone given their beer a 6 before?
No, you can give it a 5 though.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not following the
Canadian beer.
I'm not following the rules, I guess. All right. I'll give it a 5.
You get a full 5. I'm going to go with a nice solid 3.75.
Wow. That's impressive.
I don't know if I'd buy it again for an Island Active. This is for those of you who watch regularly. I'm not really usually a light beer drinker, so that's not necessarily a bad thing, but an 88 calorie, it's like, I would buy it like next to a Michelob Ultra.
Are you sure that's an accurate rating?
It's probably more 3.75.
Yeah, yep. You can do it for an 88 calorie beer.
Oh no, I'm not sure about that. So. I always question myself after the ratings.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Ryan Lazanis. It's always fun to talk to you, and thanks for coming on Drink All You Think. Everybody subscribe, definitely, if you haven't, check out Future Firm Accelerate over here with Ryan. And it is one of the best experiences from a community perspective that I have. I think it fills a huge need in the ecosystem. So please join that up and then check it out. But cheers, Ryan. It is good to have you, man.
Matt, pleasure as always. I'll speak to you soon.